Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage. Today we are working on the Sweetheart Roadster again. Last time I got that front floor pan area all made and fixed in with all the screws so that it is removable. And the next thing I need to tackle is a little tunnel blister area that covers where the bell housing of the engine is. With the Cadillac engine, it has a big bell housing that's actually cast into the engine, so that takes up some space. So we need to make a little blister area there. I'm going to also make that removable, and I'll get another little area sealed up in the footwell area. So we're going to work on making a couple of flanges, get them fixtured, and then we're going to hammer out a center section blister that we'll weld all together. And in the end, we'll have one piece that we can just screw in and take in and out with ease. So let's get started. Have you put a nice. One sec. I want to come up just a little more on this side. All right, so got my first little flange made here, and I'll show you guys. So got this flange that just fits and matches the shape of the bead I have in the floor pan there, and that is a perimeter. So when I'm doing these trans tunnel setup, that's kind of an easy way. I left the flange a little taller here on this end because eventually this is going to get butt welded to the section that we made. So now that I have that made, I'm going to make another flange that's going to go up here, and same thing, get Cleco it into the firewall, and then I'll have an area in the center that I can just fill in the gap, and we can hammer that all out, smooth it, butt weld it, and make it out of one piece. But this is a kind of an important section because that's the part that's on the floor that you will see initially, and we got that all set up with a few Clecos. Should be good. So I'm gonna make the other one, and then we'll start hammering in the sandbag, planishing hammer, all that stuff. All right, so I got this bottom half tacked up, and I went back over it in the planishing hammer to kind of blend these shapes together. Gonna be completely honest, I was super lazy with shaping this, and two shapes between the flange and the blister I made don't match at all. Got pretty lazy, and I can just kind of hammer stuff around and then blend it all together with the planishing hammer. So you can see here, like down in the bottom here on the top flange, sort of fits, and I have it overlapping, so you have to blend them together. This top half does not fit, and honestly, I just was getting impatient and lazy. So what I did on this side is I, using clamps, tacked and worked my way around and hammered and dollied and shrank and did a bunch of stuff and got this all pretty much flowing pretty good. You can see here the shape is all matching after it was set and done. So in the beginning it's a little ugly looking, but because I knew I could get there, I didn't want to spend a ton of time reshaping the two of these to match when I can do it as I'm tacking and then blend it all together. So what I ended up doing, the only downside that happened is because of that in the center here, there was a little bit of overlap. I ended up having to cut through it with a cutoff grinder, which creates a gap, which makes it a little more of a pain in the butt to weld. So this little section here will be a pain. So that's the downside of doing that way, but I was able to get there a little quicker than taking these two pieces and shaping and shrinking and going back and forth. So that's what I'm gonna do on the top half. I got this sitting all pretty good. I made some notes because we changed the shape in here. This flange got a little wavy, so I have some notes for myself when I mounted it back in the car, that this flange from here to here was sitting up a little bit, so I need to tap it down on the anvil or whatever, and it should be fine. So I'm gonna work on getting this cut out, getting it fitting, and doing the same thing. And then once we get this all tacked, the shape in, we'll go back, fit it, make sure everything fits, the cleco holes line up. I think I'm gonna have to re-drill a couple cleco holes, and then we can finish weld it, blend it all together, and see how it looks in the car. So I'm gonna get busy. All right, I got this hammered and tacked up. It's kind of ugly in here, just trying to get the flanges all to line up and get it tacked. Now, nice thing is with the planishing hammer, I can get in there and this area that's messed up, I can kind of blend it all in with the planishing hammer and just let the shapes naturally come together. Then I'll tap this flange that got a little wavy around and get it sitting right on the firewall. And then it should be just about ready to weld up once we do any small adjustments there. So now we're gonna make a racket with the planishing hammer. Ooh, loud. There we go. Shape is all blended together. That quick, we messed up, fixed all the mess ups and ugliness, so not bad. Now the flange, I'll just tap around, that's just form, so we'll just tap down the hammer and dolly and get that all flattened out and sitting on the firewall nice. And once we get everything lining up with the clecos again, then I will just do our full welds end to end on top and bottom, and then go back in the hammer, blend it all together, and then we can sand it and should have a nice little blister here for the transmission and bell housing. All right, so I got the tunnel section that we made all mounted in. I ended up just using a couple of zip screws on the top and the bottom just to hold it in place for now. Eventually I'm going to be taking some threaded inserts like we did with the floor and make it so you can just put a bunch of flathead screws in and take it in and out pretty easily. I thought this was a good stopping point for the video because we need to make all of these little kind of not exciting sections on the left and right side just to fill in the gaps and seal everything up. I just got to make the patterns and do that, but I got this portion in, which starts closing up some of the gaps. We can now start playing with the pedals a little bit, work on maybe brainstorming for the throttle pedal and all that kind of stuff. So all these little steps allows us to start in the background, start working on some other stuff engineering wise to get the car closer to being a real car. So that's pretty much it for this one. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of info for how making one of these goes. Again, I probably took some shortcuts when I was shaping this because I have the planishing hammer. I was allowed to bring the shape back in and kind of fix my laziness, which was nice. But in the end, very happy with it. It shined up real nice with the planishing hammer. I spent a bunch of time on it just to get the shape looking good. Didn't even hit it with a sander after just knocking the welds down, and it is looking really, really good. So another big step on the Sweetheart Roadster. Every time we're getting closer and closer to this thing being at the point where I have no fabrication left, and it's just going to be dialing it in and making everything nice, doing body work, all that type of stuff, and then we can really get into the fun part of making it shiny. So thank you guys for following along. Let me know what you think of the tunnel blister, whatever you want to call it, in the comments down below. Thanks guys, catch you later.